after a week of Dow disaster, we'd catch a break. Didn't happen. It's like the bottom dropped out. Take a look at this. Stocks down most of the day. And as I'm watching, we're all watching it a lot closer. You're thinking maybe we're going to end up down 100, 200. Stocks took a nosedive in the last hour. Dow Jones Industrials dropped 678 points. That's more than 7%. The index closing below 9,000 for the first time since August of 2003. Where do we go from here? Hopefully not further down, but who knows? Joining us to talk about it, radio talk show host and investment banker Chris Markowski. Name of the show, Watchdog on Wallstreet.com. And you can catch more info at watchdogonwallstreet.com for Chris. All right, Chris, what happened? I thought we were going to be somewhat okay.
Well, the best way I can explain it is there's more sellers and buyers. When there's more sellers and buyers, the markets go down. I'm trying to explain this to people out here. For every buyer, there's a seller. For every seller, there's a buyer. Eventually it's going to turn, Mike. I know it's difficult to describe. I know it's difficult to explain to people out now, but it's almost like being in that movie Jaws. And, the mayor's trying to tell everybody, get back in the water, get back in the water. And everybody's like, no, the shark is still out there. The shark is still out there. We need to get an all clear. Once there's an all clear, once we kind of realize the big bad shark is dead, the credit markets are freed up, we'll be in a much better place.
So, okay, what do I need to know if I'm sitting at home and I'm frightened now? I see the stocks dip again. I'm worried about my 401k and everything else. What do I need to know? Will it get worse if we hit rock bottom? Let's start there.
Well, you're never going to know when the bottom is, and you're never going to know where the top is. It all depends on what inning of the game. Are you a young investor? Mike, you're a young guy. You've got a long way to go before you're going to need access to that 401k. So you're looking at this situation, quite honestly, as a buying opportunity. I try to explain this to people. Bear markets need to be your best friend. You need to think of a bear market like a teddy bear, because that's when you're getting stuff on sale. We as Americans, we got this weird way of thinking in regards to investments. We love bull markets. Oh, they're great. Look, I'll buy stuff when they're way up here. It's better to buy it when it's cheap. I don't know where the market's going to bottom out. Could it bottom at 8,000? Yes. Could today have been the bottom? Nobody knows. That's the point. This is where you've got to get in, and you've got to look for value.
Is somebody, a lot of people, you see something like this, all right, who's to blame here? Did somebody do something wrong? Or is this just the market doing what the market does?
Well, this is the credit crunch rearing its ugly head. And unfortunately, the politics of the day, everybody's trying to find a boogeyman. There's a lot of people to blame. The Democrats, the Republicans, Fannie, Freddie, the credit rating agencies, and also Wall Street as well. Because quite honestly, guys, you're taking a look at Wall Street. What have they done over the past 8 years except shuffle paper around? Mike, can you name me 5 IPOs over the past 5 years? Have they created any jobs outside of Wall Street over the past 5 years? I can't think of any. All
right. I want to get a little larger picture here. I want to give everyone an idea of where we are financially in this country. Take a look at the national debt clock in Times Square. As you look at the number, it's run out of space. Yeah, they had to drop the dollar sign on the left to fit in the new number. That means we're over $10 trillion in debt. First time ever that's happened. That number could grow. We got Nancy Pelosi talking about giving out another $150 billion after the election. You've got AIG. Let's refresh your memory on that. The government gave that insurance giant $85 billion. They took part of that to go on this fancy $400,000 retreat for 10 people. That's all that attended. Now we're giving them another $37 billion. By the way, they decided to cancel their next retreat at the Ritz-Carlton. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Chris, as we look at all this, first, let's hit the first thing. $10 trillion in debt. Huge number, tough to wrap our minds around. What do we take away from that?
Well, I think that's definitely another one of the worry factors out there for Americans, and they're taking a look at the amount of money that we owe. I mean, as a percentage of our gross domestic product, it's not as bad as it has been in the past, but it's a big number. And people start thinking, geez, who's lending all this money? Are they going to stop lending us this money? And it's a concern in everybody's minds. I'm not really too worried about it right now because, I'm under the guise that if you can go out and you can borrow money at the rates that the government's paying out in interest, I mean, paying 2%, I'll take a lot of money at 2% too.
All right, let's get a couple calls, and a lot of people want to chime in. Ray in Michigan, or is it Roy? No, it's Roy in Michigan. Roy, go ahead. Sorry. Roy, you with us? Swing and a miss. Judy in Mississippi. Judy, go ahead. Didn't even foul that one off. So with an 0-2 count, let's go back to Chris.
Mike, can you hear me? This is Roy.
Hey, you're in. Roy, go ahead.
Okay, this is Roy, okay? So you know where I'm coming from. I'm 76 years old, okay?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I'm an old-timer, okay? But when we first started out our family, when we had to apply for a mortgage, I had to have 25% of my salary available for a house payment, and that included escrow, which is... Are you there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead, Roy.
I heard something breaking in.
No, it's all right.
Okay, so this is what we had to have. Today, it looks like there's, zero down. You can get whatever the heck you want. But we were able to raise 3 kids, and we survived the American dream.
Roy?
And yes.
No, thank you for your call, because I think what you're driving at, and Chris, I want to get your answer on this one. Roy's basically saying, we used to save. It wasn't a give me now society. Yep. Are we paying a price for that, for getting our dream house and our dream car in 1 year?
This is America. You have the right to your dreams, but you know what? You should have to pay for them too. And one of the things I try to tell people every single week on my radio show, that everything in life that has meaning, value, and worth takes work, time, and effort. And if something is missing in one of those variables, something is wrong. And the idea that you can go out and get a home and you should get all this stuff and I'm going to take money out of my house to go on vacation in Orlando, that's nuts. That's insane.
Yeah, a lot of folks did it. Roy, thank you for the call and giving us that perspective again. Chris, hang tight. We're taking your calls.